What's up, guys? Back again, another video, another episode. I keep forgetting to tell y'all every single time, be sure to like and subscribe. I get tons of comments, messages. Love your videos. Like and subscribe, guys. Show me some love. Today we're going to be installing the Hush Performance Sport Front Wheel Drive brake booster delete and brake lines, as well as the Wilwood clutch master cylinder and the clutch line. We're going to be installing that today, and be sure to check it out. So in front of us, guys, we have the components we'll be installing today. This is the Hush Performance brake booster delete with the brake lines. This is the Sport Front Wheel Drive brake line kit that only runs the front brakes. Over here we have the clutch master cylinder with the clutch line that we're going to be utilizing. This clutch line is specifically built to run the Wilwood master cylinder to a K-tuned slave cylinder, which is what I'll be running. First thing we're going to do, we have to go ahead and open up these little bags right here, which I have. I've already cut slits in them on all of them. The tools you will be using to do this install is going to be a 13 millimeter socket. 13 millimeter socket. Right there. Okay, it's not zooming. It's okay. 13 mil. You're going to need a number 4 Allen. A flathead. And a ratchet and possibly an extension when you're on the inside in order to finish installing these things. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, let's go ahead and pull out one of our plates here. Okay, we got one plate out. That's our Hush Performance. This one is for the clutch master cylinder. Look how nice that is. That is super nice, with the Hush Performance logo and the star right there. Really nice. So these nuts are going to be used on the front, and you can use your factory hardware on the back. I dropped one of the bolts somewhere. There's the other bolt. I dropped it under here. Okay. So we got these here. So the first thing you're going to do is you'll notice we have two sets of studs. We have small stud here and larger studs there. Okay? The small studs are going to go with your number 4 facing outward into these places right here. Okay? With the 4, we're just going to do a little hand snug. You don't have to do nothing crazy. The rest of the compression is going to happen when you put the nuts on it. So, okay. Opposite side, you're going to have the extended bolts. These are going to go through the firewall to the opposite side of where you're going to be bolting at. So we're going to hand tight those. And I'm going to put the 4 on it and kind of give it a little turn. I'm going to pass, okay, I'm going to actually pass this to Cody because you're going to need 2 hands, one to hold the unit and one to actually tighten it. We're going to pass that to Cody real quick. Cody's going to go ahead and give him a good hand tighten. On all 4 sides. Perfect. Now that is ready to go through your firewall and be attached in the front. So let's go ahead and look at this right here. So this is your way your reservoir is going to come. They're going to intentionally leave these loose so this can slip off. So we're going to go ahead and slide it off. We'll let Cody remove it because I have one hand. Cody's going to go ahead and slide it off. Boom, there you go. Reservoir off to the side. Now we can insert this. We got to pull the pin out. That'd be a good idea. Better prepared. Let Cody remove the pin out of there, the cotter pin, and the bolt. Yeah, they give you new cotter pin, new bolts. The thing about Hush Performance is they give you this billet clevis on the end, which is beautiful. So now we're going to place that in. in that direction like Cody's placing right now. Right there. Then we're going to utilize the 13 millimeters. Now, I had made the mistake of getting a 13 millimeter socket. We're going to need a 13 millimeter wrench. Except for one side, looks like. One side we're good. So, there we go. So we're going to go ahead and tighten those up. Once we tighten those up, we're going to be able to reattach the reservoir that we just removed. So let me let Cody tighten those up, and while he's tightening that up, I'm going to go grab the 13 wrench. Okay, so Cody went ahead and secured down the reservoir. We went ahead and tightened the 13s that were on the master cylinder, and went ahead and inserted it into the firewall. Okay, now on some chassis, you may have less room between here, the shock tower, and the firewall. So those studs, the big studs we put earlier, you may want to do them from the opposite end of the firewall. For my build, it would fit completely fine if I would have pushed on it, but I didn't want to because this paint just got redone and I don't want to scratch it. So I went ahead and removed them and put them on the other side. It will fit, but check your chassis. Maybe you have fresh paint, you don't want to scratch anything because this little bitty lip on the master cylinder right there may cause an issue if you don't want to scratch your paint. It'll fit, just you don't want to, if you don't want to scratch your paint or don't want to accidentally scratch your paint. Like I could have took this off and it probably would have fit, but didn't want to deal with it. So we went ahead and butt that up, got that on there. Let's go over to the inside and see what we got going on in there. So we're on the inside of the car here, and you're going to use your factory hardware to tighten. Once the threaded parts studs come through, go ahead and tighten those. Those are your 12 millimeters. Do them hand tight with a good force. I don't have exact torque specs, but that's what we're going to be doing there. Also here on the pedal, you have your clevis right here, and you have a hole right here on the side of your pedal. That's going to go through with the pin and the cotter pin. They give you a metal billet pin that'll go through there with the cotter pin, and that's how you attach that. Later on, when we actually have the hydraulics set up, we'll be adjusting this pedal. Right now, we're not going to do it. We're just going to hook it up, and we'll be good. Okay, we went ahead and inserted the pin, laid the cotter pin in there. Right now, we're not going to go ahead and do all the crazy buttoning up. We might have to adjust some threads here to adjust your clutch pedal travel. We can still adjust the clutch pedal by turning the clevis. Right now, we're not going to mess with it. We're going to wait to get the hydraulics set up. Let's go ahead and work on the brake master cylinder delete. Oh, excuse me, brake booster delete. And it's the same process, so we're going to kind of skip over some stuff and just show you. All right, guys. So we did the exact same routine on the brake booster delete. Insert the two small front studs, which are located on the bottom and the top. The four big studs behind it. Tighten those with 13s. 13 wrench up top, 13 socket on the bottom, or wrench on both if you want. Go ahead and insert it into the firewall. Make sure that you do all the 12s on all four sides on the other side of the firewall. Put the clevis into the hole on the brake pedal. Push the pin through and put your cotter pin like we did on the other side. That is going to keep them in place when you're pushing the brakes and the clutch, etc. So this is what the setup looks like. Super clean in the EG. That red and black theme, I'm really feeling it. Next, we're going to put on the lines to give you an idea of what the lines will look like. Alright guys, we went ahead and unwrapped the Sport front wheel drive brake kit for the front brakes. It's going to come with two lines, a short line because one shock tower is closer to the brake booster delete and one is way over here. So we have our two lines. Okay, we're also going to have two fittings here that are actually going to go to the brake lines that run to your front brakes. These are the brake lines from the master to the fender wells, and these will connect from these lines to the actual brake lines that run to the calipers. This right here is your bung that's going to be distributing the fluids to these two, along with this, to the two lines. And they even give you new grommets for your fenders, which is really cool, for the inner fender lining. I mean, for the shock tower area, right there, those two holes. You get one per side. So we're gonna go ahead and install these first, and then we'll go ahead and finish it off with the rest of the fittings. Okay, we went ahead and put those in here. I went in the lower spot because I'm trying to keep it as close to the frame rail as possible whenever I run to the brakes. Same thing on this side. Now we're going to go ahead and attach the T fitting to the brake master cylinder. Alright guys, so This is the banjo. It's going to come with 2 washers. You're going to take it on this little fitting, put the banjo, then a washer, then the little T fitting, well, the little dual port fitting, then another washer, and we're going to insert it right here in the brake master cylinder. There we go. So this is going to be a 14 millimeter. So make sure to grab a 14 millimeter. You're going to want these to be running left to right. See the way the T looks right here? That's what we're going to be doing. So we want that T running as straight as possible. So we just got good clean lines, and then we're going to tighten it with a 14. Once we tighten it with a 14, it should be locked in place. It'll crush the washers and you'll be good to go. Let's go ahead and take care of that. So we went ahead and tightened that fitting in, the actual banjo. You'll notice that your brake lines are going to come with these 90-degree like this. Cody has one, I have one. Your long one will go towards the passenger side, and they will screw in right here. And Cody will screw in the one for the driver's side. So we went ahead and ran that line through that grommet, and the other one kind of runs along your frame rail here and into there. Now you can tuck this, you can do other things as far, like me and Cody were suggesting, kind of tucking it up here along the frame rail, or we were thinking about getting something that'll plug into those little factory holes that has little clips to hold it in place, and to hold it in place right over here as well, behind that hole. We're looking at that, but you can kind of tuck it behind here and run it up into your fender well over there. Now, let's look at these fittings they have over here for us. They gave us these fittings. They're AN fittings. And one side is AN, and this side will go to your actual brake line. So once you get your brake lines, they will attach in here, and this will screw right into them like that. But you need your brake lines in order to complete the brake line kit. Same thing for the opposite side. So we went in and hooked up the brakes. That's your basic brakes right here. Let me see. Can you pass me that 13, Cody? So you're going to have to go through, and it looks like these is not a 13, most likely a 12. You're going to have to go through and tighten all of these fittings. The fitting here at the brake line area, and the fittings that also where you attach it at the banjo bolt at the master cylinder. And that's what you have to go ahead and do, and tighten these up, and you'll be good on the brake side. Okay, so all the fitting lines for this kit are 11, and we're using a brake wrench. You'll see Cody right now is using a brake line wrench. They are 11s. So we tighten those there, and you'll tighten them on the bottom, and we're good to go. Okay, so here's the other banjo for your clutch system. It's going to have a same thing. The bolt, this is going to be bolt washer on the other end, and this one has this kind of A end, so you can swivel the clutch line in all different directions so it doesn't get in the way of anything. Then you will run that into this A end and that into your slave cylinder. Now mine is specifically for a K-tune slave cylinder, guys, so your slave cylinder is going to matter which slave cylinder you're running. So let's go ahead and set up this banjo bolt. Alright guys, so we went ahead and did the same thing. The bolt washer, then the little banjo, and then the washer again. So here's our fitting right here. We have it like this, so you can rotate the angle you want to go. You can kind of rotate down or up. Most people want to go down, so this way they can have a really clean clutch line running to the front of their K-swap. Ours is specifically designed for a K-tuned slave cylinder. So we're going to go ahead and get this angle right there. Now, this is very odd. I was looking at the bolt, and it is a 9/16. 15 is too big, 14 is too small. It is a 9/16 bolt here, which I found interesting because this one was a 14, but this one was a 9/16. So we'll be using the 9/16 on this, tightening it up at this angle, and then we can run our line. Alright guys, so we went ahead and put the banjo at the angle we wanted. Went ahead and ran the line on it. It's still the number 11 brake line, millimeter. and then you can run it along your frame rail here, okay, if you wanted to, once I have the motor in. And then it'll attach to my K-tuned slave cylinder, which runs right there. I already have it connected right now, not tight, just to fit. So my slave cylinder will be down here, and it'll actuate the clutch. Perfect. Super excited about this. Super clean once the motor is sitting in there and we tighten up these lines up against the frame rail. But yeah, guys, I'm glad you tuned in and saw the install. It is super clean, super awesome. I really love it. It's going to be amazing. And somebody else is really falling in love with it too. And he may want one too. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hopefully this video was informative to you. You see how everything goes together. It is not very complex. Just make sure you have the tools. As I was going through this, I started noticing that some of the bolts were not the exact same size, even though they look the same size. So just be ready to wing it sometimes and grab some other tools you may need. Wrenches come in very handy. You need them for this installation. So thank you for tuning in, guys. In the future, we'll be hooking all this up when the motor's installed, going ahead and flushing the system and getting all the fluids through it and building the pressure. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to check out Hush Performance. They have a lot of amazing products. One of the next products we'll be getting from them and installing is their staging brake kit, along with the lines as well. And of course, we're going to do a how to install those as well. So we are really appreciative of Hush Performance and all they do for the community and for us. We'll continue to try to pump out content for their products that they make, the ones that we are actually using on our cars. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Like and subscribe. Also, follow us on Instagram. It's CNC_garage_HTX. That is where you'll see what Cody and I are up to in the garage on a day-to-day basis or a week-to-week basis. Be sure to check us out on Instagram, CNC_garage_HTX. And check us out, guys. Like and subscribe. See you later.